Hi, welcome to JWest Engineering. Today I'm going to show the process of changing from the automatic reverse lockout over to the manual reverse lockout. When the RennShift is delivered, the automatic reverse lockout is already installed. And so first thing we're going to do is remove that automatic reverse lockout. We start the process by removing this top collar, the boot retaining collar. I've already started to loosen it. This collar holds down the bias spring, so there's some tension on it. So you want to unscrew these screws a little at a time, evenly, until the spring tension is relieved. So once you don't feel any spring tension anymore, you take the screws the rest of the way out. So we undo those 4 top screws. Once that's done, we can get at the reverse lockout mechanism much easier. You want to move the shifter into one of the forward gears to get the stick a little more out of the way. We take a 3mm Allen wrench. We'll break this shoulder bolt loose. Unscrew that, being very careful about the stack of parts. So when we finally feel the threads disengage, we want to lift all those parts up, and I'll turn it here so you can see the stack. There's a nylon washer on the bottom, then there's the pawl, a nylon washer, the spring, and then a steel washer up on top. I'm going to go ahead and lay these items out in my hand and put them in front of the camera so that they're laid out in order. Steel washer off of there so you can see that separately. There's the order of the components. So we're going to take the shoulder bolt and the steel washer, retain those for installing the reverse lockout, the manual lockout. There's a little packet that comes in the hardware kit that has the manual lockout. It contains the actual lockout arm, a nylon spacer, and a little wave washer. And the instructions have the order that these go in, and it's just like this. I probably should do it the other way around so it's the same as what we removed. So you've got the lockout, then the coming up, lockout, then nylon washer, then wave washer, steel washer, and the bolt. So we'll go ahead and assemble that. Take the bolt, put the steel washer on it, put the wave washer on that, put the nylon washer on, spacer on, and then the lockout with the handle facing upward. Bring that up to the shifter, put it in the hole, and screw it down. Make sure that that little click there was because I didn't have the shoulder through the actual arm there. It wasn't aligned. I'm going to crank that guy down, tighten it good and tight, and then the wave washer will provide the tension. Be able to move this back and forth. Put the arm facing out the side. Put the collar back on, tighten the bolts evenly. And there you have it. So with the reverse lockout in the forward position, the shifter is prevented from going into that gate. with the handle back in the rear position, then the shifter can travel over in that shift gate freely. So it's open, no blockout to reverse at all. So it's either fully blocked or not blocked at all. Now we'll go back the other way and put the automatic reverse lockout back in. So we evenly remove the 4 bolts that hold the top collar down. Remove the collar. Shift it into a forward gear. Unscrew the lockout assembly. Remove the shoulder bolt and the washer, steel washer to use on the automatic. You have 3 parts, wave washer, spacer, and lockout you can put into your stash of stuff. Future use. Now we're going to stack our components. So we have the shoulder bolt steel washer. Then we put the spring on with the little legs facing downward. The nylon washer goes on next. Pawl goes next. Has to face this direction. So hold the pawl this way. And this is a bit of a tricky part. You need to catch the leg of the spring on here and spread it so that the 2 legs are on each side of the pawl. Show that to you from a few different angles. Okay, so that's the automatic lockout built up. Now finally we have one more washer. This part's a little bit tricky. You need to line up that washer over the threaded hole. Then get the lockout started. You let the whole thing rotate for a few threads, and then you need to hold it while you screw down. You get about this far down, you need to make sure that the legs, both legs of the spring are going down into their little slots. Continue to screw down until you just start to feel some pressure from the nylon washer. Then you've got to push on that washer. Make sure you don't crush it. Kind of go back and forth a couple times and you can feel it go through the washer instead of catching on the edge and crushing it. And you'll feel the bolt go down and very solidly contact the aluminum. Tighten that thing down. And there we go. Automatic reverse lockout, good to go. Operates both ways freely. Make sure that it does spring back, like so, both directions. You want to grease the top of the pawl on either version. You want to put some grease on there, as you'll find when you get the shifter. And we put the lid back on. There you go, back and forth. Manual lockout, automatic lockout. And of course, it's perfectly okay to run with no lockout. If you want to remove it and just run with the spring bias, that's okay too. RennShift is very adjustable and can be set up in many different configurations to suit exactly the way that you want it. all done. Put our upper stick back on. Screw that down. Put the boot on. Ready to go.